I am Gary Parrish. Welcome back. CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball Podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting, dodo birds, and leaky black. Kyle Boone is here with me. Look at that, strong jaw. If you're watching on YouTube, be Brandon Davies. Smash that like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball Podcast, please go do that anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. Let's get into it. And I want to start with the Players Era Festival, where we have 18 teams. We got 18 teams playing out in Las Vegas in front of, I think what most would agree, lackluster crowds, and with a format that most normal people either do not understand or more likely have no interest, just don't care enough to even try to understand. The title game, either way, is tonight, Gonzaga, Michigan. That should be fun. But a title game of Gonzaga, Michigan means that Tennessee just went 2-0 in the Players Era Festival, beat the highest-ranked team in the entire event. That was Houston, and still couldn't make the championship game because of point differential. UT beat Rutgers by 25 and Houston by 3, but Gonzaga beat Alabama by 10 and Maryland by 39, beat Michigan by San Diego, and then Michigan beat San Diego State by 40, Auburn by 30. So it's Gonzaga, Michigan for $1 million, and Tennessee only gets to play for $300,000. Never mind that it's undefeated with a win over the best team in the event. I think that summarizes things. KB, do you agree that this is goofy, or do you want to argue with me?
No, of course it's goofy. It makes no sense. I mean, we had Norlander wrote an overnight column on CBSSports.com, which I think kind of struck to the heart of the situation. Or I think you could argue the debacle, which is like, it is so confusing. It really does not make sense. It doesn't award what I believe is, the best teams. And so when you go away from a bracket format, you end up in a situation where Tennessee, which, as you noted, arguably had the best win of the week. They beat Houston, but they're playing in a third place game, despite winning both of their games. You have Iowa State completely missing on a chance to play for money today, because of, a late Dylan Mitchell bucket in a St. John's game that was largely inconsequential, or running out the clock versus Creighton when maybe they should have run up the score. And I guess on one hand, I get it. Like, you're playing and the rules. The rules are, it is point differential, but this is what happens when you veer away from tradition, from norms, and from the proven format of playing in a bracket. You get a situation where I think Iowa State fans would argue the best team is not playing for the championship in this event. I think Tennessee fans would argue the best team is not playing for the championship in this event. And I don't know if I would argue that necessarily. I think Gonzaga and Michigan have played very well, but when you don't get a chance to kind of prove yourself, and it comes down to a situation where you are determining advancing based off one criteria, which is scoring differential, you end up in a situation where it's confusing. It makes no sense. And on top of that, the crowds have been lackluster. It has just been kind of a cluster in many ways this week, JP.
Yeah, I tweeted, I guess, a couple of days ago with a clip from Sunday's episode, and I think I used the word flourishing, like that the Players Era Festival is flourishing, while the Maui Invitational is clearly struggling with its worst field arguably ever. And there was a little pushback, like, what do you mean flourishing? I'm watching this thing. There's nobody there. What I mean by flourishing is they're getting most of the best programs that they want to come there. And Yep. It's making things more difficult for Maui, and perhaps impossible, or at least deadly for the battle for Atlantis. So is it flourishing in the sense that, oh man, this is awesome, look at it? No, I don't like what I see either. But it is collecting the best programs in America and bringing them to Las Vegas for a few days. But the format is just goofy. And if you have a tournament where somebody can go undefeated, beat the perceived best team in your event, and not play for the championship game, you don't really have a tournament. You just got something that doesn't make sense to any sort of normal thinking person. And what I hate more than this not making sense, because I could actually understand on some level where you go, let's give it a try. I would have told you not to give this a try. Keep in mind, none of this is hindsight stuff. I said this on Sunday. I said, this is all goofy. And now here we are. The whole world's saying it's goofy. I would have told you in the meeting last year when you're planning this that this is goofy, and the reaction you're getting is the reaction you're going to get. But if you wanted to just give it a try, then whatever, give it a try. Maybe you're smarter than I am. I I would like it if they would now at least acknowledge that their way of doing things is nonsensical to basketball fans. But that's not what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Norlander had the column overnight from Las Vegas. He's out there. And there's a quote from one of the co-founders, a guy named Seth Berger. And here's the quote. We do something different. So actually, you're not just watching the same thing you've been watching every November, just with more teams. We're trying to bring November basketball to more casual fans. So clearly, one of the things we have to do is continue educating about why our format is unique and it's exciting. In this format, every shot matters, every basket matters, every minute matters. End quote. That's ridiculous. That's you doubling down on this thing that the whole world is telling you they don't like. Why are you doing that? Like, we're all telling you this doesn't make sense. And it's not just me. It's do a Twitter search for your format. See what pops up. And you're trying, and you know what that translates to? No. You guys just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand how exciting this is. You don't understand what you're watching. So we've got to do a better job of making you understand how awesome this idea is.
Right.
Buddy, I dare you to do this again next year. Bring your exciting format back next year. You'll have the same reaction next year. This is simple. Next year, they say they're going to have 32 teams. I believe them. What's 32 divided by 4? Do some math for me, KB.
8.
Okay, perfect. Let's do 4 8-team tournaments. 4 little 8-team tournaments. I don't care who's in which one, but it'll look the way it's supposed to look. You'll have a bracket, and these teams will play each other, and the winner will go here, and the loser will go here, and we know how that works. We've been doing that at least in Maui since 1984. That's the way you do if you do this event if you want to have 32 teams. But if you want to keep trying to tell us we just don't understand your exciting format, we're not sophisticated enough to understand how exciting this thing we're watching is. Keep doing that. You'll keep getting the same type of pushback. You could just admit a mistake and correct it. But if you want to double down, well, then you'll get, I'm telling you now what you'll get next year. In fairness, they do say also that they are open-minded to anything, that everything's on the table. Nothing is set in stone. So hopefully they recognize that this format is not nearly as exciting as you are trying to tell people. It's confusing. In every way he thinks it's exciting, it's just confusing. Just something exciting and insert confusing, and then you got a better quote.
Yeah, and I think you've said it well this week, JP. I've been nodding along, agreeing with everything you've said. I don't blame the programs for taking the money, right? Like, in today's college basketball world, money literally buys talent. And, as a result, it might literally buy wins. Like, you need it to survive. You need it to adapt in this era. I think my issue is the soullessness that comes with it. Yeah. Like, there is no accountability necessarily. Like, you have the owners of the event coming out and saying, like, hey, you just don't understand the format. You don't see the vision. And we're screaming. We've been college basketball fans our whole life. And I think the product of, private equity meddling in a sport that is built on tradition, it just feels icky, right? You've got the half empty Vegas arenas, the confusing non-bracket tournament format. You've got talk of expansion going into next year with 32 teams. All of it comes at the expense, of course, of like the Maui Invitational, the battle for Atlantis, which I think is where I really have a problem. And GP, I fell in love with college basketball because it had soul, right? Like, I grew up rooting for Oklahoma State because Gallagher-Iba was packed under Eddie Sutton, right? I rooted for big personalities like Tony Allen and Byron Eaton, and in front of electrifying crowds. Like, I stormed the court there. I sweat my buns off there. That kind of energy has not existed in Vegas this week. It doesn't exist elsewhere. You don't get that in the NFL. You don't get that in the NBA. And college basketball is special because of those environments, like the personalities and the traditions. Like, that's why this trend bothers me. we've already watched, the allure of money kill things like Bedlam and other major rivalries, right? Because of because of NIL, because of the allure of money, because of expansion. And now it feels like more traditions could be next. Like I think March Madness is sacred, obviously. So I worry, of course, about that because there's talks of expanding the NCAA tournament bracket. But college basketball is special, like not just because of March Madness, right? Like it's special because the Izzone in East Lansing, like the Jungle at Auburn, Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, like where James Naismith laid the groundwork for the sport that we love. And like strip those things away, you're left with like this hollow, soulless product that we've seen in Vegas where like it is just not the product that I think a lot of college basketball fans want to see. It's not the product that I think we've grown to adore and love. And, this version of what we've seen this week, I hope it is tweaked. I hope it is perfected. I think there's some good ideas around it. But I think, for a lot of college basketball fans and for me in particular, like it creates kind of a conflict about how we feel about the sport and how we feel about like the trajectory of where like all of this is going exactly.
First, I just love that you grew up idolizing Tony Allen because like now I see him every week. He's like he's in the building every week. So I need to tell him that he needs to know that he was properly appreciated as a one-time Big 12 Player of the Year.
That's right.
Beyond that, you make good points everywhere. Like I don't blame anybody for taking the money. As I'm sitting here, expressing complaints with the format and other aspects of this, I don't blame Kelvin Sampson for taking his program to Las Vegas. I don't blame Mark Few for taking his program to Las Vegas. They're making real money with the opportunity to make more. And when the alternative to that is pay real money to go somewhere else, well, that seems like an easy decision to me. Like Kelvin Sampson quite literally said, we had no choice. When presented with this opportunity, we have to go. Have you seen our budget? And I think you could probably apply that same quote to most of the programs that are out there. And so it is sensible for everybody to go. My argument is that there's just better ways to do this. And I do think a massive miscalculation, perhaps that's too strong of a word. Let's just say miscalculation, strike the massive. A miscalculation by the event organizers is that if you get a bunch of the best college basketball teams in the country and bring them to Las Vegas, then people will be eager to fill up the arena all day long and watch this stuff. And that's just not the way this works. You ever watch the Thursday, Friday of the NCAA tournament? Unless you got Duke, Carolina, and Greensboro, you're going to end up with some empty arenas, because here's what most college basketball fans want to do. You ready for this? They want to watch their team. And you know what they want to do after that? Go have a good time. And maybe if you're in Greensboro, it's like, well, what else are we going to do besides watch the basketball game that's coming up next? But you are in Las Vegas. There's a million other things to do. And so I can just tell you as a college basketball fan, if I were traveling to Las Vegas, I'm a Kansas fan. I want to go see the Jayhawks. I'm going to go watch the Jayhawks play. And then just as soon as that game's over, I'm looking at my watch going, you know what? Like, you want to go see what's going on at the pool? Hey, we can watch this at the sports book and play some blackjack. I'm getting out of there. So it's just, I'll be shocked if you ever look up and it's like Players Era Festival. It's noon on Monday and we got a top 10 matchup and it's packed. Right. That's just not what's going to happen. People want to watch their teams and they don't want to watch the other teams when given the opportunity to do all of the other things that are in Las Vegas. So it's always going to look about the way it looks. And I see some tweets from some people talking about, oh man, this is good. No, it's not. You're lying to yourself. It might be better than it was last year, but that's like grading on a curve, man. Like that better than it was last year. That just means it doesn't suck as much as it sucked last year. What it's supposed to look like is the way Maui looks every year when, before it got put into this situation that it's put in. It's supposed to look like something big's happening. It's supposed to sound like something important's happening. No, it doesn't either. It doesn't check either one of those boxes. You use the word soulless. That makes sense to me. And yeah, the format thing, just to circle back to that, you better not double down on this. You go to a bracket. As Nicole Auerbach pointed out on Twitter, there is no sport, literally no sport more closely associated with a bracket than college basketball. Yeah. And you have it. You think you've got the best in-season college basketball event, but you don't have a bracket. That just doesn't make any sense. You need a bracket if you want to have 32 next year. I said this on Sunday. You've got 18 teams this year. You should have taken 16 and had 18 tournaments.
Right.
Next year, you say you're going to have 32. Fine with me. I don't care. But break it up. 8 teams, 8 teams, 8 teams, 8 teams. Give me 4 little brackets. Now I got something we can predict. I got something I can map out. I got something where I can say, man, on Wednesday, if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, I can't wait to watch that game. I said on Sunday, I wrote on Tuesday morning, it's impossible to even try to predict who's going to be in the championship game. If there's a championship game on Wednesday, by Tuesday, I should have a good idea who's going to be in it. I woke up Tuesday, no idea who's going to be in this thing. Turns out there's 5 undefeated teams in the Players Era Festival, but only 2 of them can play for the championship. Iowa State gets completely iced out. It's just every aspect of it is goofy. Congrats on getting a bunch of good teams to come play in your event. But after that, everything you did after that makes no sense to anybody who cares about this stuff.
I agree. I totally agree. And hopefully they will take heed to, I think the large fan base of college basketball fans who have voiced those concerns, who want to see a bracket, who want to see I feel like maybe the ancient Romans created the bracket. Like, it's been proven out for a very, very, very long time. People love to see a bracket, and it makes sense. Like, there's no way to manipulate it in any way. And, I think it is clearly the best format for something like this, or at least don't call yourself a tournament. It's not a tournament. It's just not. Like, it's an MTE where you've got games and there are specific criteria, but, I don't think you're getting potentially the best teams playing in the championship game because it is not just a true bracket format.
And one of the things the co-founder said, and then we'll move on to the actual games, because they do have some awesome games. It's just going to be played in lackluster environments, but we'll still talk about them. But one of the other things the co-founder said that I just think just misses the mark is like, if you grow up in basketball, grassroots basketball, and I can speak to this with my youngest son, in competitive baseball, you get very used to point differential, run differential in pool play, deciding where you are then seated in a bracket. Sure, I guess, but like, you're still always seated in a bracket after pool play. In your event, you're not seated in a bracket. You're seated in a consolation game. You're undefeated and seated in a consolation game. So it's like, it doesn't match up apples to apples. And beyond that, if you think that the only obstacle for people understanding this is having not grown up in it, I'm at baseball tournaments every weekend where run differential matters, all right, in pool play. Do you know how many Saturday afternoons I got 7 parents standing over here confused as shit? They don't know what's going on. They're like, so if these little guys over here win by 3, then we play at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Nobody knows anything. All right. They do this every weekend and they're confused every weekend. So stop. This is simple. You don't have to reinvent college basketball. All right. Collect all your money, divvy it out, get all the best teams, but then put them in brackets and let us watch brackets unfold. Anything more than that, you're doing too much. All right. As they say, you're doing too much. Let's move on. We come back. We're actually going to dive into some of these players era matchups because there are some good ones. But first, let's get real quick a word from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
All right, KB, let's forget about the format. Let's forget about the whatever crowds. Let's talk about the matchups, because the title game out in Las Vegas tonight, it is number 7 Michigan against number 12 Gonzaga. It's going to be played at 9:30 Eastern on TNT. And I know Norlander, who, by the way, can't do a Wednesday podcast because you were up a little late last night in Las Vegas. That's what Wednesday podcasts are. What are you talking about, buddy? You got to
It's
learn.
not a Wednesday if I log in and watch you guys early in the morning and your eyes aren't just a little glazed.
I mean, look at me.
Yeah.
This is what Wednesday podcasts are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be able to sleep before a Wednesday podcast. So I don't know what this is about, but I hope he got a nice night. I hope he slept well on a Tuesday in a way that I never do on a Tuesday during the season. All right. But I also appreciate you being here. He will be, I'm assuming, in the arena tonight for Michigan Gonzaga. He's not going to know this, so we're going to need to clip this and send it to him. He doesn't even know what he's going to be witnessing tonight. And it's primarily because he objects to the idea of sorting data over at barttorvik.com until December 1st. I've been sorting data since like day 2 of the season. All right. I mean, I've been in it deep. So, of course, I last night decided to sort some data. Woke up this morning, wiped my eyes off after 45 minutes of sleep, started sorting data immediately. And what you'll find out is if you sort data over at barttorvik.com, on a surface level, most people, all they know about tonight's championship game of the Players Era Festival, there's 2 things they know. One, I don't get how anybody got here. They're confused by the format. But 2 is Michigan's ranked 7th, Gonzaga's ranked 12th. I saw it in the AP poll.
Right.
What real ones know, data sorters over at barttorvik.com, is if you remove all the preseason bias, which is something I like to do. What you're watching tonight are the teams that are ranked number 1 and number 2 in the country right now. It's a rare number 1 versus number 2 matchup between teams ranked that way if you remove all preseason bias at barttorvik.com. Get fired up. Put that in a graphic.
You've been sorting data for the troops, GP. I love it.
I probably shouldn't criticize the event organizers for making things confusing and then say some stuff like I just said. I get that. I think I'm adding to it. But these 2 teams have been playing awesome. I think that's what that illustrates. So it should be fun.
Yeah, like we just complained about the format, but like, hey, this is a pretty good game, right? Like,
hey, I don't know how you got us here, but it's like watching a chef, and it's like, yo, man, I think you're using some weird ingredients, and I don't understand what you're doing, but it tastes good. End result, it tastes good. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, maybe don't do that again, but like, I like how we got to this point.
Right.
Gonzaga, number 1 at KenPom. If you unsort the data, just look at the raw numbers. They beat Maryland by 39 points on Tuesday. Some of our editors in the Slack channel have termed Gonzaga wagon. I'm not sure that's going to stick, but I'm just going to throw that into the ether. We'll see how it goes. I mean, they have been tremendous this season, no doubt. They've been really good. They're 7-0. They are really kind of, in terms of the metrics, top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency at Bart Torvik, top 5 right now at KenPom. Michigan, pretty good in their own right. Like, this is a team that beat Auburn by 30 points on Tuesday. Of course, we talk about the scoring margin, very important in this specific Players Era format. But this Michigan defense now number 1 in adjusted efficiency margin on defense at KenPom. Yaxel Lindeborg, the UAB transfer, is playing up to his potential, and that was a nice game for him on Tuesday. Roddy Gale, the veteran guard, playing well. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Like, Gonzaga, very, very experienced, as someone noted in the comments, like basically a G League team that's playing in college basketball. They're all super old. According to like KenPom data, 2nd oldest in just adjusted experience, behind only Indiana. So a bunch of old guys playing some high level basketball. Michigan and Gonzaga for the title game. Like, it should be good basketball tonight in this matchup in this Players Era tournament.
It seems like Gonzaga hit on the recipe that seems to be working these days. Bring back multiple important players. Obviously, that's Graham Ike, Braden Huff. Get into the transfer portal, supplement that. They did that well. If you look at just their stats to date, it's like the important guys they brought back are performing. The transfer portal guys they identified as important rotation players have proven to be important rotation players, and it's just a testament also to everything about that program. Like it's not on cruise control. I think sometimes that's an insult to say that about a program. Like, oh man, that thing's on cruise control. It implies nobody's really working anymore. Now, there is no such thing as cruise control in college basketball. Like you got to keep working. Probably now more than ever, but that program has been established under Mark. Obviously, the origins of all of this success started pre-Mark, but then Mark took it to another level and has maintained it despite incredible staff turnover, most notably losing Tommy Lloyd to Arizona. There are some people, and I understood the thought, at least, that thought there are some people who believed, like, okay, now Tommy did a lot of the heavy lifting and recruiting. You lose that guy, this is where your program maybe starts to take a turn, because there are other programs throughout history where when the head coach started losing key assistants, it did start to go the wrong way a little bit. And there were some people who thought that might be Mark's reality at Gonzaga. And I didn't predict it or even agree with it, but I understood where it was coming from. I was like, yeah, it's happened before. And it just is not happening here. That program is still as strong as ever. Different, perhaps. Different, but as strong as ever. And like you said, number one at KenPom right now. So sort the data, remove the preseason bias, or just look at it however it's presented to you. The Zags are awesome again. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, and like, to the point of, losing Tommy Lloyd, like this is a program that was built kind of on like international appeal, right? Like they've consistently won with guys from overseas, and they've maintained that and maybe even built off of that in ways that maybe they weren't previously. And that speaks, I think, to Mark Few's just consistency, like his consistent greatness as a college coach. Like winning in the previous era in college basketball is very impressive, right? Like we saw John Calipari do it at a high level. We've seen Bill Self do it at a high level. All of those guys are doing it then now as well. But, to do it in two eras, in two different ways, different approaches, having to adjust, adapt, and do it on the fly, the way that this Gonzaga program has done it at a truly, truly elite level is just remarkable. And, Mark Few, he needs probably no supporters. He will be a future Hall of Famer, but this is a guy whose resume is already astounding, and he may legitimately have one of his most talented and deepest teams he's fielded yet, which over the course of several decades, I think is a remarkable accomplishment given the amount of change in the environment in college basketball we've seen over the last couple of years.
One more on the Players Era Festival, the third place game. It's Kansas against Tennessee. Both teams undefeated out in Las Vegas, but still reduced to the third place game. And that really does matter monetarily. Like Michigan and Gonzaga are playing for $1 million. The winner will get $1 million. The winner of Tennessee, Kansas only gets $300,000. And that was all determined, again, by point differential. Yep. Are you surprised? On one hand, Kansas, had fallen out of the AP poll, was without Darren Peterson, and people starting to question where that thing's going to go. And yet here they are, 2-0 out in Las Vegas. That's one way to look at it. Digging a little deeper, yeah, but they played Notre Dame and Syracuse, and I think that's what the streets are calling the easiest Players Era Festival schedule of all time.
Yeah, many people are saying that.
That's
computer trickers, some are even accusing them of, and I think that might be right. Like this is a Kansas team that like is not playing with Darren Peterson, who could be like one of the best players in college basketball. And 2-0 in the week. Like they've done exactly what you would expect to do with the matchups that they've been drawn. It was Notre Dame. It was Syracuse. So yeah, I think they've done well considering. They've gotten some contributions from Trey White. Like Melvin Council has played well. We'll see kind of where this Kansas team falls. I think still probably obviously saying the ceiling for this Kansas team has to be with Darren Peterson back. But given his absence, I think they've done well. Tennessee, of course, coming into this game, given their road here, watching Kansas beat Syracuse and Notre Dame, and then Tennessee beating Rutgers by 300 points, and then beating Houston on Tuesday, they probably are looking at like, hey, how'd you get here? Like, what are you doing here? What's a polar bear doing out in Texas? Like this Tennessee team has clearly like performed better than Kansas this week, but yeah, they are where they are. They're not in the first place game, but they are playing for money, and this is a big matchup for Tennessee to again acquit itself, which they to this point in the season have done at a really high level.
You could argue Tennessee's been the most impressive team out in Las Vegas because they pounded an inferior opponent and then beat what was perceived to be the best team in the event before it started.
Yep.
And that still only gets you to the third place game. We've discussed that enough. Let's give Maui some love. Title game is 2:30 p.m. Eastern today. It's on ESPN. USC against Arizona State. I have added USC to the top 25-1. The Trojans are down number 26. Do you object, or can you co-sign?
I co-sign. They just missed my power rankings last week, but they've been on the radar for a bit. They're 6-0 on the season now. Beat Seton Hall and Boise State in Maui. Like we're actively monitoring the Trojans. Like this is a really impressive start to get a chance to again prove themselves. But Rodney Rice, Chad Baker-Mazara have been better than expected. And I think there was some reasonably high expectations. So yeah, I'm excited to watch this one. Arizona State, of course, 6-1 on the season. Their lone loss coming to Gonzaga earlier in the year, which given Gonzaga's play over the last week, not necessarily surprising, but yeah, two teams like, I think this is a pivotal year for Bobby Hurley in the desert. Arizona State gets a good chance against a USC team that is playing really well. And of course, the Maui Invitational title game is like it's up there in terms of like we talked about college basketball traditions. It's got to be up there, like pretty close to March Madness, like just the special nature of, and I know you've been to Maui before, so you can speak to this, just like that tiny civic center, right. just the feel of that, like just you're not playing for money, right? Like they're not playing for $500,000, $1 million, but the tradition of the Maui Invitational and just the vibes of playing in a tournament that has that type of history and tradition, I think is really cool. So I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, I mean it's the best. It's the best. Like everything about it, the way it looks on TV, the way it looks in person.
Yeah.
When I walked in, excuse me, I'm still sick, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
And Norlander's out here sleeping. I'm just kidding, Norlander.
You know what? His doctor probably says, you know what? You shouldn't be traveling nonstop and try to do podcast and television on no sleep. You should rest a little more. He's probably being smart, if we're being honest. What you perceive as lazy, because that's what I hear. That's what I think I'm hearing. What you perceive as lazy, I would say maybe he's just being smart. Maybe the joke's on me. I
know he was up at like 2 or 3 in the morning because I saw Slack messages. So yes. If he's sleeping, it's absolutely well earned. I doubt he's sleeping, but yes,
it's well earned. He's probably been working all night. He's probably still working right now. He's probably writing a 70,000 word story on Felix Okpara, something like that. All right.
48-minute read.
A 48-minute read on something. I don't know what he's writing, but I bet it takes 48 minutes to read it. All right. Everything about Maui is the best. I said this Sunday when I walked in that little gym for the first time. I felt like I was walking in the way it felt when I walked in Wrigley Field for the first time, or when I walked in Fenway for the first time. It's like these are these. I've watched things happen in this place every year of my life that I can remember, and now I'm here. Wow, a little bit like like Cameron Indoor. I had that same feeling. Allen Fieldhouse. Every year of my life that I can remember, I've watched something happen in this place, and now I'm here. And that's what that little gym is in Maui. And I hope they figure out a way to make it what it once was, because what it once was a very important thing to the fabric of college basketball. It just was. It was organic. It wasn't something some billionaires thought of in a boardroom. it was just like, hey, let's try this and see what happens. And it turned into something that's important to the fabric of college basketball. And it's still here, evidence being that they're going to give somebody a trophy today, but it's not what it was. And I hope that we can get back there. And if they have to figure out a way to incentivize it and like actually compete dollar for dollar with Players Era, then I hope that there's a way for them to figure out to do it, because I would much rather. You ready for this? I can't wait to watch Michigan Gonzaga tonight. I will.
Yeah.
I would much rather watch it in that little gym in Hawaii. It would be so much cooler in that little gym in Hawaii than it's going to be in what I assume will be a kind of empty arena in Las Vegas, while a million other things are happening in Las Vegas. That said, USC, like, I guess it shouldn't be a surprise. Like, Muss is really good at this. He was awesome at Nevada. He was awesome at Arkansas. He's probably going to be awesome at USC. I know it sometimes it might take a minute, but he's already got what looks like a competent basketball team. And for Bobby Hurley, yeah, he's coaching with real job pressure this year. And so we'll see where it goes, but obviously off to a great start. And if you could, conclude this week, this trip with a Maui Invitational championship. I know it might not be the same one that, say, Gonzaga won in 2018 when they beat top-ranked Duke. You're not beating top-ranked Duke to win it. You'd just be beating USC, unranked USC. But, that trophy still means something. You'd still walk out of this with just a one loss on your resume, and you'd feel pretty good about where you are at this point in the season. So maybe not the best Maui Invitational title game we've ever seen, but still a compelling one for multiple reasons. Let's take one more break, and then we'll look ahead to what should be a fun Thanksgiving. There's two really interesting games, one on CBS, America's Most Watched Network, the network of stars. Let's do that next. First, let's get another word from our partners.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. So even if you can't count on accurate expiration dates,
that is a rookie mistake,
or people appreciating your fashion sense,
Jim, the crowd is not on board here.
you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
Glad we wear our good jerseys.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the concern in the chat. I see somebody say it feels like GP's sick 90% of the episodes. I get it. I would want you to know I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I just cough sometimes and lose my air sometimes. Could be
You
an
look
early.
great.
No, I don't. I didn't say I don't. I didn't say I look great. I said I don't feel bad. Those are two very different things. I know how I look. I'm very aware how I sound. I just want you to know I'm not struggling. You might be struggling to listen to somebody who sounds sick, but just know that I'm not struggling. I feel fine. I just cough sometimes. It appears I'm not the best healer. I got all the medicine. I mean, I got a medicine cabinet over here. I'm swinging Dayquil, like, I'm just sipping on Dayquil nonstop. It's like a junkie, but I feel pretty good. I'm going to get better. It might take till April, but I'm going to get there. All right.
Someone said you need to be sipping on some orange.
I
to
got
feel
it.
better. I don't know if that's like a Memphis thing or.
Well, I mean, in Memphis, it'd be scissorp.
Okay.
Scissorp.
Sure.
Down in Memphis, we sip on scissorp.
Scissorp.
In Memphis, we sip on scissorp, but I don't have proper scissorp, but I have Dayquil, but I have Connects back home. Listen, if I get it back home and I need to get some scissorp, I can get it. I've got Connects. All right. But right now I'm just reduced to Dayquil and it's clearly not doing everything I needed to do, but I'm going to get there. I think it might take till April, but I'm going to get there. Hey, I can't wait for Thanksgiving. Just broadly speaking, I can't wait for Thanksgiving. It's a wonderful holiday. But beyond that, we got North Carolina, Michigan, 4:30 Eastern on Fox. And then this will be a big one. Duke, Arkansas in prime time, 8 p.m. on CBS. It's America's Most Watched Network. It's the network of stars, and it'll be following Cowboys Chiefs. That's Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, and Taylor Swift's boyfriend, fiance. I should correct myself. Norlander said on Sunday, this will be the most watched regular season college basketball game because it follows Cowboys Chiefs, because it's on America's Most Watched Network, and because if you're a sports fan and you're just sitting around passing out from, eating too much turkey, the way Dan Hurley, discussed, then why would you touch your remote control when Duke and Arkansas, that's the Blue Devils and John Calipari, why would you even touch your remote control if that's what's about to come on? And don't ever forget who owns the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry Jones. Where is he from? Arkansas.
Ooh.
This works perfectly. The brilliant people at America's Most Watched Network that put this together, I think they're going to get paid off well. I don't agree with everything Norlander says. I don't agree with his sleep schedule, but I think he might be right here. Duke, Arkansas could go down as the most watched college basketball game of this season. You think that's possible?
I think that's very, very, very possible. We've got, Cowboys, Chiefs right before that. People will be no doubt sipping, of course, on some orange during this game. And that's possible. People could just keep the game on, be asleep, watch the entirety of Duke, Arkansas, and not engage in it in any way. They will be watching, though, GP.
That's right.
And I will actively be watching this game. Duke, Arkansas, John Calipari versus John Shire. Calipari earlier this week said, they're preparing for a physical battle versus Duke. I love it. It gives me some football vibes. I love watching football on Thanksgiving. That is absolutely tradition. We love traditions. Duke 7-0 on the season. They've got wins over Kansas, over Texas, among others. Duke with Arkansas and Florida over the next week. And Arkansas is pretty I think they've acquitted themselves fairly well this season. They're 5-1 on the season. Of course, that lone loss being on the road at Michigan State earlier this year. This is their first kind of real test since that game. They've got Duke obviously on Thanksgiving. And then next week they've got Louisville at home. But yeah, Duke, Arkansas on Thanksgiving. Very much excited to watch this one. Cam Boozer, of course, the headliner there, the potential number one pick, and he's playing at a really high level for the Blue Devils, and a huge reason why they're off to an undefeated start so far. Yeah,
you're just going to have this incredible audience for the NFL period, but specifically Cowboys Chiefs. Could you even pick a game? What even does better than Cowboys Chiefs? I mean, I'm not a football but Cowboys is America's team. That's what I heard. I heard the Cowboys are America's team. And then the Chiefs are like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. My kid, if you asked my boys if they have a favorite NFL team, they would probably tell you the Chiefs, for the same reason millions of kids once upon a time would say my favorite team is the Chicago Bulls, because of my kids just somehow Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce became a part of their lives through their iPads. And so you've got that draw. I don't know that there's anything bigger you could put on television in American sports than Cowboys Chiefs regular season. If we're talking regular season stuff. And then that leads right into Duke. Everybody knows Duke. That's the most recognizable brand in college basketball. And then that's John Calipari. Everybody knows John Calipari. And so this is an easy sell. It's going to be a monster number, and it's kind of neat. CBS is the home of college basketball in so many ways because of the history of the NCAA tournament. Everything about it, right? But we don't do a lot of primetime games on big CBS in the regular season. This is not normal. And so because it's not something we do frequently, it's going to feel and seem bigger than it otherwise would be. And it's going to be massive. I can't wait to get home and turn to WREG News Channel 3 in Memphis and sit down with the family and watch it. It's a big day for the network. I can't wait.
I am very much excited. And I'm glad to hear that you'll be home for Thanksgiving as well. I hope you get to do some resting, enjoy some family time.
Yeah.
Watch some Duke, Arkansas, some Chiefs, Cowboys. It should be fun. Maybe we'll get a Taylor Swift appearance. It should be a good Thursday.
She hasn't been traveling to most road games, but
I've noticed this. Yeah.
Is this and this is a road game, I believe. This one's down at AT&T Stadium. So we'll see. You know what? I'm going to leave it up to her. I don't think I need to make those decisions for her. I'm going to leave it up to her and her team. But if she's there, I'd be happy to see her. I'm never the person that objects to seeing Taylor Swift on television, either during a game or outside of a game. I'm happy to see her when anybody points a camera at Taylor Swift. I'm happy to see her. She seems like a delightful woman, best I can tell. Hey, KB, you're going to be home for Thanksgiving. You going to have a good Thanksgiving as well?
Yeah, we're gonna go up to Stillwater, so Oklahoma State area. Go see some family there, eat some turkey, some ham. Yeah, looking forward to it. We've got a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old. So like just raising kids during the pandemic and then raising them outside the pandemic. I love seeing family. Like I've always been a family guy, and so yeah, like having kids, being able to share that with family over some food, some football, some Duke, Arkansas. I mean, it's one of my favorite holidays of the year.
It's one of
for sure.
It's one of the best.
Yep.
It'll be a great day. I'll wake up here in New York. I think I'll wake up here in New York. We'll see.
God bless you.
I mean, I guess nothing's promised, I guess nothing's guaranteed, but I'm assuming I will wake up here in New York. I'll look down. This is Broadway right in front of me. So I'll wave at the parade outside of my window. I'll go, hey, parade. Hey there, parade. Good to see you. And I'll go to the airport and I'll fly home, and then I'll be with my family just like with your family. And yeah, we'll settle down. Watch Duke, Arkansas. Sip some Dayquil. It'll be nighttime. Maybe I'll take NyQuil at that point. And then we'll wake up Friday and we'll cough through another episode of the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. It's going to be amazing. KB, I appreciate you being here, brother.
Glad to be here. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Hope you get some Dayquil in you.
I'm 7 seconds away from that. Don't even worry about it. Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester. I swear to God, I feel fine. I don't want people worried about me. I just call.
You look great.
I know I don't look. I don't know that I ever looked great, but I know it's not today. All right. I don't even know if my best day I looked great, but I know it's not today. But I appreciate you saying it. It's a kind thing to say. Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Terry Teagle. He's a legend. Huck Larnell. Thank you guys once again for watching, listening to Eye on College Basketball Podcast. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcast, Apple, Spotify. More of us than there are of them. That should be reflected in the comments. So do that. We'll talk to you again on Friday. Till then, take care.